for launch in 3, 2, 1.
From the dawn of time we have looked beyond, wondering, dreaming of what lay outside our grasp. We grew across vast landscapes and took one small step. First to the moon, then we looked to Mars. We built a space station, but still we wondered what lay beyond. Now it's time for a courageous group of men and women, led by the best of the best that mankind has to offer. We now seek to take that one small step and turn it into one giant leap. We are ready to take on new challenges as our quest to the outer reaches of space continues. What answers will we find on our quest? Our quest to discover the galaxy.
Hi everyone and welcome to Discover the Galaxy. I'm your host Jason Ross. In this series we're going to take a look at mankind's greatest adventure, setting foot on the moon. We're also going to look at the next steps we took, building the International Space Station and putting the rovers on Mars. After that we're going to look at the next series of spacecraft, the Orion, which is going to take us to the next step of space exploration. But first off, let's take a look at the history of mankind's adventures, from sailing the seas, getting up into the skies, and then looking to the stars and wondering how we could get there. Because after all, human beings are very curious. We are the explorers.
We are the explorers. We have a need to find what is out there. It is a drive inside each and every one of us. The drive to wonder, to push the boundaries, and to explore. We expanded across our lands, settling new frontiers. We took to the oceans and learned that we could cross treacherous expanses in the pursuit of discovery. And then we took to the skies and flew. But that wasn't enough. We left the planet and redefined what was possible. We flew in space. We walked in space. What once was a melodramatic flight of fantasy became reality. Then, a new generation of spaceships captured hearts and minds for 3 decades and helped build a castle in the sky that is our lasting home in space. We have always looked up. For centuries, we wondered what was on the other side of the sky, and we have begun to answer that question. We have learned that all the exploration humankind has achieved is only a beginning. Right now, men and women are working on the next steps to go farther than we have ever gone before. New vessels will carry us, and new destinations await us. Everything we have ever accomplished leads to this moment in time, where exploration will now take us to the planets and the stars. Our nearest neighbors in the night sky have beckoned us, invited us, dared us to reach for them. We are the explorers. Throughout our history, we have taken both small steps and giant leaps in that pursuit. Our next destination awaits. We don't know what new discoveries lie ahead. But this is the very reason we must go.
Okay, so you've got the bug for space now. Well, being an astronaut takes more than just going to university. In a zero-gravity atmosphere, it's really hard to stay physically fit for long periods of time. Some of the space crew that are up at the space station are there for 3, 6, or even 12 months in zero gravity. We're going to join Mike Hopkins as he shows us how to train and prepare for being part of the space crew.
Hey everyone, this is Mike Hopkins, NASA astronaut getting ready to launch to the International Space Station as part of Expeditions 37 and 38. And I'm in the countermeasures training room here at NASA JSC, and today I'm going to talk to you about the exercise bike that we use up on orbit. Now right now it looks very similar to the bike that you might see in a gym here on Earth, but in reality when we get up on orbit it looks quite different. And in fact, this is a picture of astronaut Jeff Williams on orbit. And you can see we don't have the handlebars or we don't have the seat because you are able to float. So you just have to strap your feet in with the normal biking shoes and away you go. Now how do we start? Well, much like the treadmill, we actually have a control computer here, and it'll not only give us the different workouts that we might have on orbit, but it'll record our heart rate. It'll record what watts we're using, what kind of loads, and how fast we're going. And so again, we can look at that at the end of a workout and decide how well we're doing. And then another little piece, much like the treadmill, the bike has to be isolated from the station as well, because again, we don't want to impart these loads into the station. And so the bike is actually mounted on a rack like this, and it has vibration isolation system as well. And that system is these springs, and so there will be springs at each of these corners, and they're basically designed to absorb the load as you're biking. A little interesting tidbit here. So on orbit, when they first started using this, there was a lot of times when this spring would bottom out. And so to overcome that, well, they found a good use for dirty old socks. And so this we can put right in the middle there, and that'll help us keep from bottoming out. And so again, this is our exercise bike that we use up on orbit, and I sure can't wait to try it out.
So welcome back from the break. What we're going to look at now is the International Space Station. Yes, we have one. Did you know up there that they drink their own recycled urine for drinking water? If you want to know about that, you've got to keep watching this show. Also, we're going to learn in coming weeks how you wash your hair in zero gravity. But to start off with, let's go and join Sunny Williams as she takes us on a tour of the International Space Station so we can see what's involved in living in a zero gravity atmosphere.
Hello, I'm Sunny Williams. I'm up here on the International Space Station. So this is Node 2. This is a really cool module. Of course, most of these modules you'll see they have 4 sides and they're put together. That way we could sort of work on a flat plane, either a wall, a floor, another wall, or the ceiling. But you know, again, all you have to do is turn yourself and your reference changes. The reason I'm bringing that up is because this is where 4 out of 6 of us sleep. And so people always ask about sleeping in space. Do you lie down? Are you in a bed? Not really, because it doesn't matter. You don't really have the sensation of lying down. You just sit in your sleeping bag. So here's one sleep station right here. I'm going in right now. You can follow me if you want. So I'm inside. It's sort of like a little phone booth, but it's pretty comfy. I've got a sleeping bag right here that we sleep in, so we don't have sort of like a little bit of a cover. We don't fly all over the place. But you know, you can sleep in any orientation. I have it sleeping, feeling like I'm standing up right now, but like you saw, I'm on the floor. But it doesn't matter if I turn over and I sleep upside down. I don't have any sensation in my head that tells me that I'm upside down, so it really doesn't matter. The sleep station is also like a little office. We've got a computer in here. As you can see, we've got a couple little toys. I've got some books. I've got some clothes and other things that make it sort of like home. I'm coming out. And just for reference, that's one sleep station. This one's another. Right here. There's one on the ceiling, if you want to call it. Right here. And then there's a fourth on the other wall over here. So all of us sleep in a little bit of a circle. All right, come on back. There's more to show you. I know that there's some questions about how to use the bathroom and how do you actually live in space like normal, like at home. I mentioned real quickly about getting up in the morning and brushing your teeth and washing your face. Well, how do you do that? Well, here is the bathroom essentially. You get up in the morning and we have a little kit and it has all the essential things that you need, like your toothbrush and toothpaste and brush. See how much better the brush makes my hair look? I'm just joking. It still stands up straight. It doesn't matter where you are. It's always going to stand up straight while you're up in space. A lot of people ask about toothbrush and toothpaste. So, luckily enough, toothpaste, you can do it upside right this way, is sticky, and so it sticks to your toothbrush. No problem. Another cool thing is that water sticks to your toothbrush too. If you can see it, I'll have some water come out. The water is pretty neat up in space. It'll stick to your toothbrush and it will make a big bubble, and that's just by surface tension. And then you can drink it. So a lot of people ask about what do you do with the toothpaste after you brush your teeth. Two options. Swallow it, and it's sort of like mouthwash, but it tastes a little gross. Or you can just spit it out in a paper towel, and then you don't have to worry about it. Swallowing thing I wouldn't recommend at home. I'm only up here for 4 months, so it's not that bad. One of the most pressing questions about living in space, of course, is the bathroom. So let's take a look at that little piece of work. Come on in. Here we are at the throne. This is awesome. You might see the little, you might have noticed the little moon on the outside. This is our orbital outhouse right here. And of course, it serves for two functions. Number 2, right here. I'll show you. But you see it's pretty small, so you have to have pretty good aim, and you be ready to make sure things get let go the right direction. And it smells a little bit, so I'm closing it up. And that's, of course, for number 2. And this guy right here is for number 1. So they're sort of two slightly separate functions, but you can do a little, essentially both, by hanging on right here and doing number 1 and number 2. I might add it's color coded, so you really don't get it mixed up, which is nice. This is yellows for number 1. And also there's a selection of paper. People always ask about toilet paper. What do you do with toilet paper? What kind of toilet paper do you have? We have gloves, just because sometimes it does get messy. We have some Russian wipes, which are a little bit coarse if you like the coarse type of toilet paper. We have some nice tissues, which are nice and soft if you like soft toilet paper. We have Huggies, just for any cleanup. You know, we were all babies once, and this sort of helps. And then if things get really out of control, we have disinfectant wipes, just to make sure we clean up here. Because, you know, just like the water I showed you, the number 1 stuff can sort of go all over the place if you don't aim correctly. And did I mention both of these have a little bit of suction, so they should keep things going in the right direction. But like I said, sometimes things get a little out of control if you are out of control yourself flying around. So we have lots of protective stuff. And of course, you do have your privacy. There's a little door. so other people know that you're in there. Here's a pretty cool place. This is sort of like in your house where everybody meets in the morning. After you wash your face, brush your teeth, you want to find something for breakfast. And this is our kitchen. You might notice there's all sorts of foods here. It's like opening the refrigerator. You got all your different stuff that you want to have: drinks, meats, eggs, vegetables, cereals, bread, snacks. And that's a good place. That's where you find all the candy. Side dishes, and then some little power bars just in case. So we have all this type of food. Some of it is dehydrated, and so we have to hydrate it, fill it up with water. Some of it is already made, and then all we have to do is heat it up. So something like this, I'm pulling out barbecued beef brisket. Pretty yummy. Not only is this food made in the U.S., but we also have food here from Japan. We've got Russian food. As you can see, all these red containers are filled with food that's from Russia. And then we get some of our specialty stuff, some things that we like, some of our favorite stuff that your family can send up. In fact, I like fluffernutters, and so I got sent up some fluff so I could make my fluffernutter with peanut butter. So you have a lot of food up here, no problems.
Okay, so to finish today's show, what we're going to do is look at the future of space exploration. The Space Shuttle program has basically shut down, and now the Orion spacecraft is being built to take mankind into that next step of voyaging to the outer rims of the galaxy. Let's go and take a look at it as it's being constructed by NASA. It's the Orion spacecraft. Let's see it being made.
For all the unique, amazing achievements of the Space Shuttle, there are things the shuttle can never do.
The shuttle's been a fantastic vehicle for us. It's done things that no other vehicle can do, like carry aloft huge telescopes and pieces of the International Space Station. But with its wings and its reusability and its tail and so on, it can't leave low Earth orbit.
The shuttle cannot re-enter Earth's atmosphere at the speeds required for a return from deep space. And it cannot remain in space for much longer than 2 weeks at a time. NASA's next spacecraft, already being built and tested across America, will do those things and more.
This is the spacecraft that's going to take humans to explore the solar system. It's the next big step for NASA in exploration.
Called the Orion Multipurpose Crew Vehicle, or MPCV, this next-generation spacecraft will enable America to explore beyond low Earth orbit for the first time in more than 40 years. These missions will take humans far away from Earth to explore distant asteroids, the moons of Mars, and other places in our solar system, beginning a new era of space exploration. Manufacturing and testing of the MPCV is well underway at facilities across the United States, and the spacecraft systems, ground support equipment, and launch facilities are already being developed. As NASA focuses on the construction of this new spacecraft and plans voyages into the solar system, NASA's commercial partners are developing private spacecraft to transport equipment, supplies, and crew members to the International Space Station.
Orion is a capsule. It's a more traditional kind of spacecraft, designed in the same way that Apollo was designed to do things beyond low Earth orbit.
The Orion Multipurpose Crew Vehicle will sustain a crew of 4 astronauts on missions that could last from 6 days for a lunar flyby mission to up to 900 days for deep space missions. These long-duration missions will require sophisticated life support and power systems that can endure the harsh environments of deep space and return the crew safely to Earth. The spacecraft includes both crew and service modules, a spacecraft adapter, and a revolutionary launch abort system that will significantly increase its safety. Based on lessons learned from 30 years of space shuttle operations, the MPCV's flexible design allows for upgrades as improvements in technology become available. This flexibility, as well as the unique life support, propulsion, thermal protection, and avionics systems, will enable continued innovation throughout the spacecraft's operational life. The Orion MPCV is the most advanced space vehicle ever built, incorporating technological advancements in electrical power, rocket engines, navigation and flight control, communications, and life support. The spacecraft's new launch abort system has already flown, performing flawlessly during a flight test high above the New Mexico desert. This all-new escape system would be used to pull the crew safely away from an accident during launch. Because of the extreme distances that would be traveled during a long-duration mission, the MPCV has an advanced communications and tracking system so that it can remain in communication with Earth. A return from deep space means that the MPCV will enter the atmosphere at higher speeds than a spacecraft returning from Earth orbit, exposing the vehicle to much higher temperatures. As the Orion MPCV and its crew return to Earth, the vehicle will be protected by the largest and most advanced heat shield ever developed. Components of a sophisticated new automated rendezvous and docking system for the next spacecraft have already been tested in space. The system was tried out with a special test rendezvous with the space station on the next-to-last flight of the Space Shuttle during the flight of Endeavour near the end of the STS-134 mission. Experience gained during flights of the shuttle and other NASA spacecraft also have led to innovations and advancements in the manufacturing of spacecraft components. Working alongside commercial companies to develop complementary systems allows NASA to focus on space exploration beyond low Earth orbit.
So they're complementary in that as the commercial plan works and relieves our cost need for supporting ISS, it gives more money for exploration. And exploration allows us to take the lessons we learned from the ISS support and apply it to long-term and exploration of the solar system.
The difference in missions means the spacecraft must have different designs. For Orion's long-duration missions, the crew must have more living space than the amount needed for a commercial spacecraft's short-duration mission. As a result, Orion's interior space is almost 40% larger than most commercial spacecraft designs that are in development. Orion also will have the capability to act as a backup for transporting cargo and crew to the space station in the unlikely event it is needed. With the Orion MPCV, NASA will extend human presence into the solar system as America once again voyages beyond the pull of Earth's gravity.
It's part of what we are. It's part of being human, I think, to go beyond what we understand, to push the boundaries. So it's another great step.
Every day that we design Orion, we get closer to going out to places like the Moon, Mars, asteroids, or perhaps even the moons of other planets.
As commercial partners design and build vehicles for transportation to low Earth orbit, NASA is now focusing on the vehicles and systems needed for the next generation of human space exploration. In factories and plants, in cities and towns across America, men and women are building the spacecraft that will allow humans to leave Earth and expand our knowledge of planets and moons and asteroids. For the first time in a generation, we will explore beyond Earth orbit. We will go places humans have never gone before, and the journey to get there has already begun.
Unfortunately, we're out of time in this episode of Discover the Galaxy. In coming weeks, we're going to look at the Hubble telescope, we're going to look at the rover missions on Mars, and much, much more. I hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll see you at the same time next week. I'm Jason Ross. Keep that spirit of adventure alive as together we discover the galaxy. Bye for now.